Alright guys, we were headed up to Albany MX for a little dirt bike ride. Expecting to have a good time. It is cold and early. 28 degrees right now. En route, it is the 1 year anniversary since the last time I was up here. Give or take a day or two. Broke my collarbone, scapula, a bunch of ribs last year when I was up here, so let's get back out there and see what it's like. See you there.
Alright guys, so yes, heading up to Albany MX. It is a cold day in the 20s. It's supposed to be a high of 39 degrees today, so we're gonna go get some. Take it easy on the ride up, just to make sure that we make it. And yeah, it's gonna be a good time. Let's get some.
Alright guys, we're almost there. We're within an hour of Albany MX Park. Making pretty good time. Weather still isn't as good as I would have liked it, but we'll deal with it. Riding the 450 today. I thought about bringing the 300, but I think in lieu of the last time I was up here a year ago, I broke a bunch of bones, so kind of a redemption ride for me, so to speak. Kind of excited to get back out here. It's a fun track. Be interesting to see what they've done with the layout this time. And yeah, ready to go. Looking forward to it soon.
Alright, so we made it to the track. Getting dressed. Ready to roll. It's a little bit muddy out there. Hopefully the track will come around eventually. Let's hit it. Here we go, first lap. Unfortunately, it is not as dry as I would like it to be out here. And I'm not big on motocross tracks in the mud, not my favorite thing. So we're going to kind of roll around here, get a feel for the track, get a feel for the dirt, see if we can figure out what is happening. And so far, it's pretty... So this is my first session. There was one big bike class that went out before us. I didn't show up to the track today until 10 o'clock, so yeah, I missed the first session basically, which I was okay with because usually I like those lines to get worked in by somebody else rather than me. But it's pretty slippery. It's packing up on the tires, and really this being only my second time here, I'm not really sure what this dirt is made out of, so to speak. Kind of get the gist of it. Somebody throwing roost at me. I don't think that was necessary. Not on the first lap. But yes, as many of you know, probably explained it already, but Thanksgiving weekend of 2023, I was out here, crashed my dirt bike, and broke some bones. Part of the game, not a big deal. But just now, getting back out here, man, I almost hit the dirt right here. So this is the jump that I crashed on that broke me last time. And yeah, I'm not starting off good, as you may notice, kind of all over the place. Brad rides here pretty regularly. I would guess you could consider him a regular of Albany MX. But yeah, really my second time here. And I'm just trying to figure out what is going on. I have no idea what happened in that last turn, but just about hit the ground. I hit some deep mud, some slushy mud on that inside there, and it just about chewed me up and spit me out. I'm only going to show 2 or 3 laps of the first couple of sessions. They weren't very good, nothing really to write home about, nothing too exciting, just trying to get a feel for the track. Really, the third and the fourth sessions aren't that great either, because I didn't ride amazing today, but really today was just about kind of getting through this and getting home safe so that there would not be any repeats of last year. Now, I have not been avoiding this track. I just have not made it back. I've been at kind of a busy summer, lots of track stuff going on. And I really like the track, but I don't know, it just didn't work out this summer to get back up here in better conditions. But I know my buddy was riding it pretty regularly and having a good time, so I'm a little behind the 8 ball up here. They do a great job up here trying to make sure that they're giving you a different layout almost every time you come out here, at least from what I understand. And it's pretty neat because it gives you, it keeps it new and fresh. I think part of the time they're doing it to try to avoid some of the moisture. But yeah, it's pretty good. You can see that front fender just kind of bouncing around. That mud is packing up on everything. And it's pretty heavy mud. It's got some clay in it. As the track dries out, it gets really tacky and ends up being pretty good overall. But buddy Randy showed up as well. His first time at Albany MX, riding his YZ125X. He was, whenever you come to a new track in that first session, you always think, and sometimes even when it's not a new track, you just haven't been on a track for a while, that first session you're just kind of like, oh man, not feeling it. But I think that's how Randy felt. I kind of felt that way too after the first one, but I think after the second one we both felt much better and just continued to improve all day, which is all you can really ask. That's what you're hoping for. That's one of the things I'm trying to work on this year, is to learn the tracks quicker. Because even my local track, I feel like, I don't know, it takes me, I'm never good in that first session. And when you're racing, you get practice out of the way. It's like you got to be able to hit some of the jumps in practice before you're going to feel comfortable doing it in the races. I just got to get up to speed quicker, if that makes any sense. One of the many things I'm trying to work on for this upcoming season. Of course, I don't really know what the upcoming season is going to be. There will be motocross involved. There will be some off-road racing involved. And yeah, we'll get it figured out at some point. Probably just a little bit of everything. I don't know if I'll run any off-road series because there's a lot of traveling involved with that, which I don't really mind, but I don't know, you can do the District 36 series down in California and travel all over the place, or you can do the one they run up in Washington, which would be fun as well, but that's quite a bit of travel too. So I don't know what I'm doing, but I know there will be dirt bikes in the future because that's just what I enjoy doing. This little wall jump kind of had me sketched out too. It really needs the back side of it filled in a little bit. I think you guys have, you kind of seat balance it and you can downside the back side, but it's so steep now from people just, the rear tires just spinning, that it's kind of more technical than I like it. I think if they'd add a little dirt back there, it'd make a little more sense to my mind. I still did it a little bit today, but for the most part I kind of just rolled over the top of it because I felt that was a little bit safer. And I'm just a chicken, really. It was so rough through here, it's kind of hard to explain. I try to move over to find a smoother line, and you'd get in some of that heavier, sloppier mud, and you just hear the RPM of your bike raising, just no forward momentum being gained at all. It gets you out of the bumps, but yeah, it wasn't the way to go either. So. Yeah, same bike as last year when I hurt myself. Same gear, same everything. I just trying to start over, man. We're gonna forget last year even happened. Have some fun riding our dirt bike. I really like this facility. I wish it was a little closer to where I'm at. I think they do a really good job here. It's professionally ran for the most part. You know, it's not. I don't know. They're open during the week, during the summertime, and they try to have regular practices here, which is awesome. All the local guys. I mean, it's a huge benefit to have a track in your backyard, so to speak, you know, so that you can come out and ride as much as you can. And this jump here was so sketchy. And this one was kind of weird too. It had a weird little lip. All right, more of the same. Session 3. We'll leave this one just uncut and we'll do the whole 15 minutes here. Video's going to end up being a little bit longer than I prefer them. So, yeah, I mean, obviously you don't have to watch the whole thing. But, you know, it's all in good fun. This turn was, you know, it's a little off camber, downhill sort of thing, and it had one pretty good rut towards the inside that was pretty good, but a little bit tricky. And all these kind of step ups or doubles that I'm doing, this is a big step down that I didn't get today. I kind of wanted to, but I don't know, I didn't want to push my luck. Even this tabletop here was harder than it looked to do. I finally kind of figured out to seat bounce it, and that was the easiest way for me to get it, but it got kind of a knuckle in the main line, so you had to go to the left or right of it, or where it would really throw that front end down. You know, and it happens to a lot of jumps from my limited experience. There's just a big hole right there. I didn't really talk about it in earlier sessions, but it's like a drain right there, and it is sketchy. You have to kind of pop the front tire up back over that little section to make sure that you don't get swallowed up. Yeah, I didn't even consider jumping this today. I was struggling with that turn before it, that big sweeper. I kind of turned it into 290s. I don't know. I could not figure it out. But there's some sand in part of it, and I think, you know, I think I didn't really figure that out soon enough. And so I put too much weight over that front wheel, and my front, the bike would just dive. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to explain. It was weird. But I was not doing well through that turn. So I never felt like I could get the speed that I really wanted to attempt that jump. Even though that wasn't really my goal today, was to come out and hit that jump that obviously caused me so many issues last year. But the guys that were doing it were making it pretty easy. So. Again, just riding a little too cautious, most likely. It's always good to get out safe. Yeah, this step down I kind of wanted to do, but it's just slippery enough to where like I said, I didn't want to risk it. I've all kind of got one line through here. There was one good semi-dryish line. But in the second and third session, the track really tacked up. There were parts of the track that were pretty tacky, and you could get a lot of traction in. And then there were other parts that were, as long as you stayed to the main line, it was pretty good. But like this corner here, it's like there's one line through here, maybe two lines, and it's not really good, if you know what I'm saying. They're not great lines. It's like, I think I'm carrying enough speed to get this done even here, but I just wasn't feeling it. I didn't see anybody go down there today, which was good, but and I know there were quite a few guys doing that. Brad was doing it, but yeah, I wasn't quite doing that. This thing, man, you had to, I seat bounced off that single onto, it's almost like jumping onto a little tabletop, but not quite. It was a hard landing. You just kind of hold the throttle wide open when you landed to try to move some of that downward momentum forward. And then this tabletop as well, it sounds like we were hitting that really the opposite direction, and that's what it felt like, because the lip was on the downside, and you kind of, I don't know, a lot of guys were doing it, and I definitely should have been doing that one, but I just kind of chose to roll that one as well. And there were quite a few guys that weren't doing it too, so it was just kind of a weird jump. You'd jump it, and the downside from the top of the jump at least looked like it was very steep. Yeah, I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't very fast today. I wasn't very competitive. I could not keep up with Brad. He's got this track kind of dialed, which, you know, that's expected, but I gotta bridge that gap a little. But just happy to get out of here without hitting the dirt at all. I didn't go down at all today, which is always the goal. And I got a great workout in. Like I said, it was cold, so I think that certainly did not help my comfort level at all. If anybody knows me, they know that typically my rule of thumb for riding dirt bikes is if it's not 40 degrees, I'm not going. And I know that doesn't sound very cool, but anything less than 40 degrees, I feel like I have to start layering up to stay warm. And once I start layering up, I feel like my movement is restricted, and I feel like I look like that little kid off A Christmas Story when his mom wraps him all up and he can't put his arms down. That's how I feel when I put a bunch of clothes on to try to stay warm and ride my dirt bike. And then I just don't, it takes me a long time to get comfortable on the bike. Anyhow, I'm not complaining, I'm just saying typically I'm going to stay home if it's cool. But I really wanted to ride my dirt bike, and I really wanted to get back out to this track, especially since I knew it was kind of the anniversary weekend of the big crash. Plus, I didn't want it to get into my head. I didn't feel like it was getting into my head at all, but when I got to the track, I felt like maybe I was a little nervous, and I shouldn't have been. I mean, I know how to ride a dirt bike. Basically, I'm not great at it, but I can do it. But yeah, I didn't want to turn into a thing where felt like I was subconsciously avoiding coming out here, so. Which I wasn't. I just, the longer you stay away from it, you know, it's kind of like if you fall off the horse, you got to get right back on it, that sort of thing. That's what I'm trying to explain, and not doing a very good job at it. Man, I'm getting exhausted trying to keep up with this. Yeah, my buddy Randy and I were talking a little bit about gear selection, and I told him I'm never in first gear. I don't hardly ever use it on the 450, especially on the track. But I found out that I do use first gear. I kind of paid attention. I'm not that guy that really knows what gear he's in most of the time. I typically just go by feel. I put it wherever it needs to be, but I don't necessarily know exactly what gear it is. And sometimes I've been trying to pay a little more attention to that, and I did find out that in that little S-turn before the wall jump on the finish line straightaway, the finish line section, I guess, I do hit first gear there. Yeah, second gear, I can pull second gear there, but you get a little too much wheel spin with the conditions, and it would be really easy to get on the brake a little too hard. end up stalling the bike. So first gear through there, second gear through most of the other parts of the track. I think I would hit third gear on the kind of that back straight a little bit. But there were times when I felt like second gear wasn't quite enough and I probably needed to shift a little more. I finally just fell into the rut that everybody was using, all the fast guys kind of made. And that would help me through that section, but then I'd get into this kind of sandier section and just struggle through there. You can see I was going the same basic speed that he was, and he did it without any trouble. I mean, he did bounce a little, but that's the difference between shutting off and not shutting off. Yeah, that jump back there is just weird. I don't get what they're trying to do there. I don't like it. Because there's no way I'm going to clear the whole thing. I guess the fast guys kind of find a line around the wall jump to so they can clear it, but I don't know. It's a weird jump. I don't really get it. It's like a single, almost onto a tabletop, but not quite. So it's just like a single to flat, kind of. I don't know. I can't. I'm not even gonna try. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop right now. Yeah, I should have done that. Woo! Yeah, they're racing there this weekend. This, of course, is Friday, if I haven't mentioned that. Like I said, that's one of the things I really like about Albany. They're open a lot, especially during the drier months. They actually have a practice schedule, and they'll add even extra days in there and have semi-private, they call it, track time, which I think they just charge you more money for. I'm not really sure what makes it semi-private. But I think a lot less people show up to those, so it's kind of nice to get a little bit of space. Yeah, I don't know. Get a look at that jump. It's kind of weird. This one almost pitched me over the bars more than once. I think I hit third gear through that little straight there. And you kind of hammer that little rut. And you go into this little double here, which is really manageable, really easy. It's actually, I think it's actually a triple. There's a little bit of a drop off to it, kind of towards the end there. I never send it that far. I gotta conserve my wrist as much as I can. These two are pretty fun. This one was also a little triple. There's another kind of a little step down, but when there's not much of a ramp, it makes for a pretty hard landing. But it definitely looks cooler because you catch a lot more air when you send it over some of those. And they're pretty easy. I mean, I would think they'd be pretty easy, pretty doable. And then there was this jump that was really on the side of another jump, it looks like. Kind of an interesting integration of a jump. But it was cool, it worked. And I think, like I said, they were trying to keep you out of a really wet section, most likely. So rough. I don't know how those guys are jumping that. I mean, you know, Brad spent a lot of time throwing dirt at me. He passed me a lot today. He's definitely got more speed than I do here, that's for sure. I don't know how many different hoodies Brad wore today, but how he got the pink one on today. Pretty sure it was gray in the last moto, maybe blue in the moto before that. I don't know. Session 4. Anybody still watching this? It's been a while. I mean, I don't know. What are we? 30 minutes into this? 25? And I cut a bunch out. We did 4 15-minute sessions. And I was like, man, nobody's going to stick around for that. So if you're still watching this, once again, kudos to you. Because you can only watch a guy circle around the track for so long before it all starts looking the same. And really, I'm not going to do anything different in this session than I did in the last session. So I get it. If you're kind of over it, hey man, it's not going to hurt my feelings. But if you do watch the whole thing, thanks. Appreciate it. I try to make it entertaining, but I'm really not that entertaining of a person. So, you know, I'm definitely just kind of winging it. Try to give everybody a little bit of room here because this is a really good spot to get roosted and flag up the old goggle. It's been fun riding a bunch of moto this year. Kind of getting a different feel for. I mean, I'm not good at it, but I definitely feel like I'm more comfortable and better at it than I ever have been. You know, as a kid I always thought I was a motocross guy, but really I didn't ride enough track to ever be good at it. And I've definitely ridden a lot of track this year. And it's been a lot of fun. Traveling, you know, that's fun too. You know, going, of course there aren't a lot of tracks right in my backyard, so of course I got Moto 541, which is awesome, and I love that it's right there, but you know, they don't have a practice schedule, they're not out there every weekend or whatnot, so it means I get to travel some. Made it down to Stillwater and Reading, had some fun there, and I would like to get back to that one. That's a fun track. Of course, made it to Washougal this year for the 125 Dream Race. I'll try to get back to that one next year as well. Albany, Eugene. High Desert. Didn't spend as much time at High Desert this year as I would have liked to. I really enjoy it up there, but I don't know, other opportunities were there and I just want to try some different stuff. But now that we're back into the winter sessions, I think as long as the roads don't get too nasty, I'll have to try to spend a little time there for sure. Also been playing with some different audio settings, some different recording devices, rather than just the old trusty phone app. And so I'm not sure what the audio is going to sound like on this one, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, things really tacked up through here. This corner got quite a bit better. I was actually getting to where I could start pulling the front wheel up a little bit. Landed off this little double here, I would almost pull the front wheel up every time I got on the gas because it was so tacky. Kind of a step up. I consider it a step up, but I think that's a fun jump. One of the funnest jumps out here, I think. Pretty safe, pretty smooth. Kind of feel like a hero when you just kind of downside it perfect. This jump I think was probably fun when they hit it hit it from a different track layout. It's kind of just a roller the way it was laid out today, at least for me. Definitely felt like I improved every session. The track, part of that was the track improving, and, you know, some of the moisture getting moved off of it. Yeah, good times. Track was pretty technical. So I'm still running the Dunlop AT82 rear tire, and I have to admit I kind of like it. I don't see any real disadvantages to it. At least not for track. You know, I haven't ripped any knobs off. It's held up reasonably well. Yes, the corners are rounded off on it. I think I have 12 or 13 hours on it right now of all track time, and it's been good. The rattle jump a little further than me and kind of make a triple out of that, and then he just makes that one look perfect, man. He just downsided that perfect. I get a little hung up here, so I kind of lose sight of. Kind of wanted to see if I could run with Brad a little bit, figure out some of his lines, and at least get some good video of him jumping some stuff. But I didn't want to knock anybody off the track. It was kind of cool because the announcer was even talking about that. It was like, yeah, this slow big bike class, there's a lot of different skill levels out there, so just be careful. We're not racing, we're not knocking anybody down. Like, I just think it's really professionally ran. They do a great job up here at Albany. If you have never ridden here, come out and try a practice day. Maybe wait for it to dry out some, or don't. You know, maybe you love this type of riding. It's not my favorite, but it's a part of riding dirt bikes, right? So I don't mind riding in a little bit of slop. I just worry about getting hurt mainly, because I do get hurt. You know, my wife gets tired of me sitting around the house for months on end because I've broken another bone. Yeah, Brad was going faster. I didn't have enough for him. Yeah, that was kind of a weird one there. I spun going up the face of that a little bit. Got a little bit too much lean and I just about crashed there. That was really the closest I came to really crashing, I guess, today, at least I felt like. Well, other than that first lap, really coming close to hitting the dirt around that sweeper turn that we're coming up on here. And it would have just been a layover, but I would have been covered in mud and cold, and it would have been miserable. So I did everything I could to not hit the ground on that one. 24 KX450, man, I can't say it enough. I love the bike. I really do. I just don't have anything bad to say about it. I guess if I had to nitpick, I could say I wish I would have paid $7,000 for it instead of $10,500. You know, like they were giving them away for trying to get rid of the 24 model. And I can't believe more people didn't buy them at that price. 7 or 8 grand, whatever it was down to. But I believe people when they say the Yamaha has way more power down low and is way faster and all that stuff. I'm sure it probably is, but I don't feel like I need any more power than what this bike has. So suspension is, you know, I restrung it for my weight because I got a little extra weight to me. There's my buddy Randy. But yeah, it's good. I feel like I can ride it without getting exhausted. And even my 2016 KX450 really wears me out. It pulls your arms off down low and then doesn't ever really stop. This bike I just feel like is much more manageable. Oh yeah, this little guy on the Stark Bar, this kid could ride. He was riding I think he's had an 03 CR125 as well. But this Stark Varg will throw dirt at you like you wouldn't believe, man. Yeah, this kid could ride. He was good. Too bad I didn't get more. I couldn't keep up with him for one, but too bad I couldn't get more footage of him. He almost went down back there in that little corner. But he's going to hit this little tabletop. Of course, I'm dragging behind because I just was horrible through that turn. I don't know what I was doing. But yeah, good times. I know a lot of people are not into the electric thing. I just enjoy dirt bikes, mountain bikes. It's got two wheels. I want to ride it. And I'm definitely interested in the Stark Varg. I think it's a neat bike. You know, is that perfect for everything? No, but no bike is. That's why I have so many in my garage. You know, would I want just the Stark Varg in my garage and no other dirt bike? No, I wouldn't, because I like gas bikes. I like the smell, I like the sound, I like everything about gas bikes. But I think there's definitely room for the Stark Varg in my garage. They're kind of spendy though. Well, again, if you've made it this far through the video, I appreciate it. If you haven't made it this far through the video, but you still want some of it, I appreciate that too. But I think for this one, I'm going to sign out because I've said enough. You know, I've talked for a long time. I don't like talking, so. And for those of you who hate to listen to me talk, I'm sorry. I apologize. But anyhow, thanks for watching, and until the next one, I'm out.